Blessed are you, O Lord, teach me your statutes.
Even a little bit more background, so I grew up, my dad is Catholic, my mom's Orthodox, so we grew up going to the Catholic Church more, just for whatever reason. That's the church that we decided, my parents decided to go to, so it didn't happen for me to really fall in love with Orthodoxy until a little bit later on in my life, probably right around college time. And that's when I started going to the Orthodox Church and getting involved in that way, in any way that I possibly could. I grew up in New Jersey, so I was going to St. George out there. And through my work with the Antiochian Village, I became really, really enamored, and I just fell in love with youth ministry. I was a camp counselor there for 6 summers, and I've done a million different things since then. And 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now, I moved here to Phoenix and became the youth pastor full-time job at St. George. And it has been one of the biggest blessings that I could ever ask for. I always say that, I'm really, really passionate about 3 things in this world. I love sports, and I love the church, and I love working with youth. And I get to do 2 of those 3 things every single day at this job. And it's really not even a job. It's like it's just like a calling and a blessing to be able to do what I do. And so over the last 2 years, I have built relationships that I can't even describe. Not just with the kids, but really just with the parish as a whole. Working, I didn't really know what it was going to be like. I was a little nervous, working for a church full time. I'm a social worker, by trade, so I never worked, for a church or anything like that. So coming here and being full time and being embraced in a new community, I didn't really know very many people, obviously, especially at the church. But being able to do so has been, the biggest blessing, and just growing in that way has really been, a massive, massive part of my life. And I think specifically, I would say, working with the kids there really are no words. These kids are incredible. They teach me way more than I could ever teach them. And it's just been such a blast being with them. So kind of our schedule almost is, so every Wednesday we lead a Bible study. I lead the teen Bible study, and Father Chris Salami leads the adult Bible study at the same time. But the teens come with me, so we spend an hour a week reading scripture. We did Matthew and we did Genesis these last 2 years. We're doing Romans this year, which is awesome and going really well so far. We do a monthly Soyo event. It's like our fellowship event. We just kind of do something different each month. Tonight, actually, in a few hours, we are going to Fear Farm over in Glendale, and we're just doing like a haunted house kind of thing. So it's gonna be a blast there. We're doing a Friendsgiving next month. We did like a Color Wars kind of like competition of night last month. So we just do a different event every month, and we get everybody to come out and join us, and it's an absolute blast. Our Soyo is what we call it, Goya for you guys. But our Soyo is probably about 50-ish kids, but our events usually get about 30. Not everybody can make it to every event, but we have about 50 that are relatively active, and about 30 at each event. We have 31 on today, so it's a blast. We just get together, and we just, I like what, Mary said, right?
Megan,
sorry. Megan just said about how she leads everything, how they lead in prayer every time, and we do that too. And anytime we do anything, we start with a prayer, and we start just, the thing that I love the most about what we do is we do normal, day-to-day things, but we do it in an Orthodox Christian manner. We make sure that we say a prayer before we do anything. We make sure that we, just use all the values that Orthodoxy teaches us, and make sure that we kind of just how do I say this? We live our lives as Orthodox Christians, no matter what it is that we do. And that's kind of been from the very beginning, the first thing that whenever I got an audience with these kids, that was kind of my first message is I want to be here, we're going to have a lot of fun, we're going to do all these things. They're 15, 16 years old. They want to have fun, they want to do all of that. But teaching all of us, we all need to learn it. I need to learn it, maybe even more than a lot of these kids do. But that everything we do, no matter whether it's church related or not, do it in an Orthodox manner, and doing it with love in our hearts, and truly making sure that like our relationships with each other and our relationship with with Jesus Christ is our like number one priority. And I think that's been the biggest lesson that I've learned over these last 2 years, is learning how to do that every single day, and learning how to teach that every single day, in all assets, in all aspects of my life. I think if anybody wants to get involved in youth ministry in any way, whether it's as a youth director or whether it's just somebody like I'm gonna pick on John a little bit. I know John super well. Like John helps out at all. He's not official like full-time youth director or anything like that, but I know John helps out here at Assumption. He's helped out at our church even a little bit, so thank you for that. But like whether you do it full-time or not, I would say that the biggest like tip that I would give for anybody that wants to get into anything like this is like just show up. Like I don't mean literally just show up, like that is a massive part of it, like literally just put your feet in the church like and be there, but really like all these kids really need is just somebody to be there, like just somebody to be there for them, somebody to show them that they love them and that cares for them. That's the number one goal. Like they're gonna remember the scripture, God willing, they're gonna remember the lessons that you've learned, they're gonna remember the Sunday school lessons and this, that, or the other. They're gonna, God willing, they remember all of those things. But the number one thing that I found that they're going to remember is just whether you truly, truly like showed up for them. I make a point when one of my goals is once a week, I try and do something where I go out in the community and I like hang out with a kid, whether it's go to like one of the kids like football games or go to another sporting event or get coffee with somebody after school one day or whatever, and just something to remind them that no matter what, like somebody's got my back. And that to me is the number one priority. And I think these kids really, really, really feel that. And I think that that's definitely the number one thing that I've tried to encompass in the way that I do this ministry. And I like to believe that it's been a success so far. And I'm super, super thankful for this opportunity to be able to do this and to continue growing in my faith, continue growing in the way that I interact with others, and continue, paying it forward. That's kind of what it's really all about. Like I said I grew up going to the Catholic Church, more, so I didn't really have OCF or Soyo or anything. We had a little bit of a youth group, I think, the Catholic Church that I grew up going to, but it wasn't really strong. And I really look back and wish that I had somebody like John or somebody like Nico, two guys that I know, like I said, very well, and I wish I had somebody like them to be able to guide me along the way that I hope to do now for these kids. And again, whether you do it full-time or not, whether if you are interested in doing something like this forever or whatever, like a full-time job, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help. But even if you don't do that, if you just feel like a calling to interact with others and to be a mentor, to be a guide, and to pay it forward to like the future community, there's always, always, always a need. We always need people. There's never going to be a time where we don't need any help. Like I said, these kids more than anything just want somebody to be there, somebody to love them, somebody to support them. And whether it's your job like it is mine, or whether you're just an awesome dude like John, whatever, well, kind of awesome, but whether you have that in your heart, just get out there and go out and do it. It'll mean the world to these kids, and God willing, that'll help push them on a path that will send them into, so that they can be the next people in this room, doing something like this in a few years, so that they can then learn to take from it, whatever they can. So it's been the biggest blessing, and I'm very thankful. So thank you guys. Anybody have any thoughts or questions or anything? Thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Glory to you, our God. Glory to you, our God.